Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas, and woohoo! All right, we gotta party it up. You know why? Because Bitcoin hit a new record all-time high price, unanimous across all the exchanges, and it crushed it. And we are just 2 minutes away from the daily candle close, just signifying and planting itself as a daily position for sure. We already hit the wick up above, but it'd be so nice to see it above that level, that 20,100 level. Right now we're at $21,400, over $1,200 past that actual previous point. I mean, that's knocking it out of the ballpark, grand slam kind of a statement. You know, I want to make a move, I want to make a statement, bam. Well, there you go, guys. So today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Orchid. We're talking about stuff going on in the news. We're going to see how this position changes right away after that new daily candle position. And this is going to be really interesting going on from here because we don't have anything to really reference as far as the previous chart goes with this. So a lot of the things I think ideally is going to be dictated off of the news. And guess what? Good news, guys. I cover a lot of the stuff in the news. And then we look at the charts on these and we look at some of the other coins as well. If you guys are new and you haven't yet already subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. If you can, please make sure you hit that thumbs up like button. Trying to hit at least 50 likes on all of these videos. We've been having a lot of trouble trying to get that, and it helps us out a ton with the discoverability. So if you can take a second and hit that thumbs up like button, it is so appreciated, guys. And click the bell icon so you know whenever we have a new video and you stay up to date with everything. All right, let's go into the news here. So, stampede of Bitcoin buyers pushed Bitcoin past $20,000, the exchange data shows. So check this out, guys. Many people were trying to deposit stablecoins to buy Bitcoin. Ki-Young Jun, chief executive of CryptoQuant, told CoinDesk. A chart provided by crypto data portal CryptoWatch shows that approximately $45 million was traded on Kraken's Bitcoin USD spot market from 1330 to 14 UTC as Bitcoin's price moved up by 5%. It was not clear what drove the surge of Bitcoin buying orders on exchanges at the time, but it occurred just as CoinDesk published a story that UK-based Ruffer Investments confirmed it invested about $744.26 million worth of Bitcoin in November. Also on Wednesday, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or CME, announced it will launch a futures contract on Ethereum in February of 2021. So we're looking about 2.5 months away. We should be seeing some movement going on even further for Ethereum. CME, very bullish news for that. There had been some orders sold at around $20,000 from people who bought Bitcoin at high prices back in 2017, Chen said. But those orders are mostly gone by now, and $20,000 has become the new supporting level. Supporting level, right? The support. You got resistance, you got a breakthrough, which we've already done. Now it's showing signs of $20,000 as being as a level of support. And guess what? It is 4:01 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We just moved on to the new daily candle. And guys, we have secured the highest candle in history for Bitcoin so far, right? So where we go to from right now, this point on, we'll have to see. But you are a part of history. You wish that you were there. Some of you guys back in the 2017 period, that all-time high, I wish that I knew about this and what was going on. I understood more about Bitcoin back then. But guess what? You are seeing it now. You get to be a part of that experience now. 5-10 years from now, just think about how much more dramatic this could potentially be as more countries, more individuals start to adopt this. You're having major institutions coming into play with this, and this can be life-changing for so many people. Yes, there are risks, and you need to realize that as an investor into something like this. The golden rule, never invest more than what you're willing to lose. It is beautiful when your investments pay out so well. But if something happened and it was just all gone, make sure that you will be okay. You got to make sure that you have secondary sources. It's also really important in the line of business. Never have one linear form of income. Always remember that. Not financial advice, I guess. Just a suggestion. I'm not a financial advisor. But it's a very famous quote. Okay, so there's that right there. Now, we also take a look at other people who are talking about this. You got Yahoo Finance, right? Yahoo Finance is talking about it hitting $20,000. You're hearing this all over the news. You got Market Watch is talking about this too. Their headline about it shooting up. There's clearly a view in the community that all this central bank easing provides a bullish case for Bitcoin, and with the crypto closing in on new record highs and importantly $20,000, this could well be the point when it explodes higher into uncharted territory, wrote Craig Erlam, senior market analyst, in a Wednesday note, right? Just looking at it, I mean, we're at $21,400 right now. Moving on even more, Bitcoin worth $400,000, says Guggenheim Scott Minerd Crypto Roundup. They made news last month with a rule change which would allow the fund to put up to 10% of its net asset value in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, or GBTC. Speaking to Bloomberg's Tom Keene today, Minerd says his team's fundamental work suggests Bitcoin should be worth $400,000, right? I hope you guys understand that. $400,000. That's about a 20 times increase from where we're at right now. Essentially, it's putting it on the similar scale level of what the current market valuation is for Bitcoin, for gold. Sorry. So you're looking around $400,000, $500,000, very comparable to what gold's influence is as a store of value. And Bitcoin is designed specifically for against inflation and economic downturns. So it's very interesting. Plus the limited supply, you got so many other things. 21 million. Keep that in mind. Bitcoin passes 20,000, reaches all-time high. You got TechCrunch. They're talking about this too. More and more people talking about it. You got Bloomberg, which apparently I have to sign up for. Not going to do it. Sorry about that, guys. Other people cover the same kind of news. And then you got, I'm sure, New York Times. They may have said something on this, but the whole blocking article thing just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know for sure if New York Times wrote on it. I'm just speculating on that one, just so you guys know. I wouldn't be able to read it because I don't have a subscription to them anyways. But yeah, so guys, looking at Bitcoin, what's interesting is the market capitalization is about $400 billion right now. $395 billion, right? Pushing on the verge. Now you tell me, all right, if you know about Bitcoin, you've studied it, all right, you'll understand the principles behind it, why it is so widely accepted now. More people are accepting it. The high demand for this, all those signs that signify that. Can you sit there and tell me that a social media platform, Facebook, oh yeah, it's Facebook, but are you telling me that a currency, something that's essentially, this should have the same value as gold, it's worth less than one website, Facebook? Really? I don't think so. I really don't think so, guys. I really don't think so. So Facebook on this website, this was actually identified for back on May 12th, 2020. So it's a little bit outdated, but it shows you a couple of the other ones there too, just to give you guys a little bit of a reference point. Facebook listed here almost $600 billion. So we're about $200 billion behind that right now. You're talking about from where Bitcoin is right now, $200 billion, that's half of it. So can you imagine us going to $30,000, $35,000, putting us on a similar spectrum for that of Facebook? And that's just Facebook. You got Alphabet Company, which is a company that owns Google. That's almost $1 trillion. You got Amazon, which is over $1 trillion. You got Apple and Microsoft. Though both of those are around $1.5 trillion. You got things like Tesla that are absolutely these insane prices, you guys. And you're telling me that Bitcoin's total value is worth less than that. Right now, it sure is. That's undeniable. But the future of it? It deserves so much more. And it has a limited supply. This is going to blow people's minds. And you're going to look back on this and you're going to say, I can't believe that he was right. I can't believe I didn't do enough research. You're going to say that, like, I wish that I would have, I wish that I would have, I could have, I had the opportunity to do, but I didn't, and you're going to have regret for things, right? So do not invest more than what you're not willing to lose. But if you're not investing anything in Bitcoin, you are missing out on the single greatest investment opportunity that we have presented to us that has an 11-year track record at this point, and you're going to kick yourself in the butt later on. You could risk, and you could argue saying, well, I could invest $10,000 into Bitcoin, but look at how much I'm going to gain when it moves up. Bitcoin has the credibility at this point, though. You could say I could invest $10,000 into some other random altcoin. Okay, that altcoin is basically as good as you saying like, hey, there's a penny stock. Let me put $10,000 in its penny stock. Sure, the company might end up blowing up and doing really well, and you could do tons of research into it, and that's potential too. But now you're increasing your level of risk. So you're lowering your risk factor because of how much Bitcoin has shown in its track record history, and you have a higher potential still for returns. I mean, just look at it this year. It's over 150% since January, and it's outperformed that of gold, right? That should say something right there for you guys. So, you know, I invest into altcoins. I've got my portfolio with that. I got my investments into Bitcoin as well. So I have a little bit of a spread out portfolio, but I understand the potential for all this. Let's go take a look at the charts. Looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and on OXT. So yesterday's candle close. Oh, sorry, did not mean to do that. Thought I already had that swapped out there. Yesterday's candle close, as you guys can see right here, was in an all-time high. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's put it even on the monthly. All right, look at that. Look at that. December's month right there. So if we drew a little line right here, you can see us going all the way across like that. Baby, back in December of 2017, going into January of 2018 period, you can see right there, quite a bit down. That's a good little margin change you guys can see in just that big spectrum. Look at that one bit of gap, dude. That just happened in one day. I hope you guys understand that, right? If I just drew another little line from that point right there to right about there, trying to get into the median zone, right? You guys look at this. Look at that comparison. You understand? That was one single day. That alone was like an entire month. It was more than an entire month for some of these movements. And that took place in a single day. And now we're in the signs of a continuation for a bullish trend, right? You got a lot more people starting to talk about it. You're going to have more of the retail investors coming into play with this, more major institutions are going to be wanting to get it too before it's too late. It's like, hey, my friend's been talking about it. My friend is making money off of it. They're saying that we don't know where it's going to go to next. Some people are wondering if it's going to retrace back and everyone's going to start selling it and it's going to start crashing again. But you have big players that are taking the Bitcoin off of these exchanges and off of the over the counter from the miners, right? And they're putting it into cold storage. They're not wanting to tap it for years. They don't want it to keep circulating. They want the price to keep going higher and higher, and the weak hands will get pushed out, right? So FOMO, which is the fear of missing out, that's what's going to be happening right now. People are going to say, oh my God, it's going up. I don't want to miss it anymore. They're going to keep watching. They're waiting for it to dip. They're waiting for it to dip. And guess what? It doesn't dip. It keeps going higher and higher and higher. So eventually people are like, I can't wait anymore. I got to get in. And then that's when they come in, right? Now, it could reverse. It could pull back down. Some people might want to wait another day and see how things play out. After a day of cool down, because today is Wednesday, I think Friday could be a very, very interesting day. I mean, today is a Wednesday. This is more than interesting for a Wednesday. Let's be honest. Investing normally takes place on like a Monday or a Friday. So a midweek movement of this magnitude, of this historic importance, it's really, really cool. Okay, so that's looking at it on the monthly. We look at this on the 4-hourly chart right now. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit, take a look at this a little bit better here. You can see a 4-hour push up, a rally, another 4 hours took place. Look at that massive volume taking place there. A little bit of a push up and retracement, but a lot of action back and forth. The volume was still quite considerable. And then another big push movement up as well. So on the new daily candle, we are seeing a sea of red taking place. Bitcoin dropping down to 21,250 because of the massive increase over the last day. It's not surprising to see a lot of people are trying to take some profits, especially if it starts tanking. People might be like, oh, that's the sign. That's the sign. I need to bail out now before it drops down anymore. And then guess what? You've already got a wall of buyers as a very strong potential chance at these lower levels. So you're seeing it drop down like this, and once it hits that trigger, boom, people were hoping and praying that it would be that cheap again, right? We're talking about 21,282. If it goes down to $21,000, there's a good chance that people are going to be looking at just a little bit above that level of putting some buy orders in, thinking that, like, you know, if it's not going to hit 21,000 exactly, maybe I can get a little bit higher for more of a guarantee, and I'm more likely to get my profits. A lot of people are more than likely going to be trying to do that. Now, what could end up happening is it gets down towards 21,000 and some massive whale decides to drop it right before it hits 21,000. And so any of those people that were kind of waiting just slightly above, it's going to cancel all of those out. And then people are going to psychologically change their mindset and feel it's still going to keep dropping even further. Those buy orders will still go in, don't get me wrong, and people might still hodl, but it's interesting how everything psychologically plays out, and it really depends on what the whales, what they decide to do that has more of an impact with this. If this pulls back more in the 21 EMA, we could see a pullback retracement to $19,800, although I personally don't see that happening right now. It is potential. Looking at this on the 15-minute chart, you can see that there's actually a bit of a consolidated movement taking place. Most of that push-up took place back over in these three range, in that 45-minute segmented zone, right? So a little bit of sideways action, still some candle wicks pushing up pretty high. A couple back here that were dipping down a decent amount. Right about there was around $21,150 as a baseline. So it's holding pretty strong. We got to just kind of keep an eye and see how things progressively move. So right now we are in a red candle for the daily, but it's only been 14 minutes. So, you know, not much to really reference on that. And something else I kind of want to touch on too is if you take a look right down here, look at how this sequence moved for the volume, right? I'm looking down on the bottom here. You got this massive green candle push up, and then it took about half a month later, there was then another massive push up. And almost a full half month later, 13 days later, another massive pump up. 12 days later, almost another half month. Boom, another big green candle push right here. Very interesting how all of this is playing out. And then here we are 16 days later and another massive candle push up. So if this pattern itself was to repeat, let's say there's some major institutional investors that are coming together, or one individual, or just something that's going on. It's like every half month, every 2 weeks, there's been this massive rally kind of keeping it going even higher. So 2 weeks from now, you know what that is? The new year. A new year could mean new things as far as financial books go. It could be so interesting to see how this goes. We're seeing massive green candles now, right now. Potentially, we could see 2 weeks from now a massive red candle. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 massive green candles, and there's 4 repeated patterns right here. So this trend seems to signify pretty strongly that about every 2 weeks, there is a massive movement taking place. So in theory, if that trend continues, because we have 3 instances at least of it doing it, there's a good chance in 2 weeks from now, there could be something else dramatic that takes place once again. And now we're starting to see a lot of green coming back. That red candle, look at that. It's already starting to diminish itself and fade away. Already in that short amount of time, so much bullishness, so much people wanting to get into this. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next bit, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on with Bitcoin. So Ethereum is also seeing some nice gains. It's passed above the $600 range. You can see right here that it was bouncing down below, very close to that 21 EMA. It didn't quite tap it. It was pretty close. And then it retraced back up and ended up closing out very nicely above $600 range. And that was actually right here near the peak from December 1st as well. Very interesting. And so far on the daily, it's still seeing some nice gains up. Unlike with Bitcoin, as we saw that there was that large candle wick down on the baseline for the daily, as you guys can see here, Ethereum doesn't really have that. It barely went down, and it's just been progressively moving its way up. from there. So a lot of sentiment is showing strong signs for Ethereum. Looking at it on the 4-hourly chart, you can see in the last several hours, that's where the rally's really been taking place. On the 15-minute chart as well, it was about 30 minutes ago from the time of me making this video well, actually 17 minutes ago, that's when that started to push up in those high levels of volume there. Even further back right here, 2 major massive rallies, and then people were actually trying to sell off at the same time, and it ended up having a further continuation up. So it's making some good progress for sure. And next major level do you want to keep an eye out for Ethereum is going to be at the $700 range. That's the psychological level. And also you can take a look back here from the previous trends. That's essentially where these shoulder positions are kind of showing for this past position here, right? You got a shoulder there, head, and then a shoulder, and then it had a further pull back down. So the shoulder line is going to be a key level. Then another level is going to be at $835, right around there, which also shows if you drag it even further off this way, essentially that is also where 2 other shoulders were, right? Well, one shoulder piece, and then another one's a little bit higher. So you're seeing some associations taking place, and then of course eventually trying to break above around the $1,450 range, $1,500. Can Ethereum hit $1,500 and break its all-time high this year as well? Well, we're looking at almost a 2.5 times increase from where it's at right now. It's possible, don't get me wrong, and with Bitcoin's movement up, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think it's a little bit more likely that we're counting ourselves too high within a 2-week period. I think it's more likely that it could roll over to next year, but not in the too distant future. We have to see how things continue to move. Expect some pullback from Bitcoin, and that could cause some further pullback with Ethereum as well. If this decides it wants to have a pullback down to the 21 EMA, as I can't remember if I just said this a minute ago or not, but you're looking at $580. That's the key baseline, is $580. It's got to try and stay above 580 for that 21 EMA. Strong movement. Okay, now looking over at Orchid. Orchid, aka OXT. You guys can see we're back inside this consolidated box once again. So it's showing some signs of recovery, and it's very close to the 21 EMA. Nice, huge green candle yesterday. It was a fake out that took place down below that level of support. So the question is it going to start rallying? A lot of these other coins are starting to make their signs of a rally, and people are like, well, what's Orchid doing? Well, Orchid right now, look at it. It's almost 27 cents. It was 25 cents yesterday. So it's 2-cent gain. That's a $10 million approximate gain, more or less, off of its total market cap. And it's like between, I think, $8 and $10 million of total market cap gain, right around in that range. We don't have staking still, right? So if they do release staking before the end of the year, this could be so good for Orchid. You take it off the circulating supply. 500 million is a lot of tokens. 1 billion is the total supply. There's lots of other tokens out there that have that total supply that are also doing really well as far as their prices go and things. And just keep in mind, right? This has hit $1 previously. It has the potential to go. It fits in a key niche market, the VPN space so far, but it's looking to expand out into further marketplaces. The fact that it's got the staking system, they just started the beta or the alpha. It's either the alpha or the beta with Windows. And, you know, there's so much potential. Good, strong development team. This is a token that I think people should definitely keep an eye on. You don't necessarily have to invest in it right now if you don't want to. I'm not going to tell you guys that you should. I've invested into it. I highly believe in this. And those are a lot of the key reasons of why I've been talking about that. This 21 EMA needs to break above is at 0.2712. The level of support down here is at 0.2570 approximately. So it needs to stay above that level, break above the 0.2711, needs to go then even further into 0.28 to break that level of resistance. And then we really need to get out of this consolidated zone. So then break above 0.3232. So the 0.3232, that's in dollars, 32 cents, right? Again, somebody mentioned the other day, they were like, you should say things in dollars. I mean, like points, whatever, if I reference that, it's referencing cents, you know, but just to clarify on that. And if this stays within the symmetrical triangle pattern, we could see this play out all the way to December 22nd before it eventually has to make a decision. So if this goes above the 21 EMA, it needs to signify ideally 3 days of support positions because of the track record history for Orchid. 2 days hasn't really been very stable in the dollar since its decline, and so 3 days is going to be much more believable that we're in another bull run, and at least to some degree, right? So we had 3, 6, 7 red candles, 2 green, 2 red. We're now on the second green candle so far for the day. Day has just gotten started. Once again, keep that in mind. Very close to 27 cents, very close to that 21 EMA, and a lot of potential going on here for its future. Keep your eyes open, guys. Keep your eyes open. That's all I got to keep saying. All right. Now, looking back one last time over Bitcoin, how's it doing? Oh, look at that. Back in the green. It's a war. Boom. Green, red, green, red, green, red. Let's go. Let's go, Bitcoin. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up like button. Let's try to get at least 50 likes on this video. And also make sure you click the bell icon so that you know when there's new video, that YouTube will tell you this. Otherwise, you won't know. And YouTube has a history of starting to hide things that you were subscribed to because of one reason or another, right? So please make sure you click the bell icon. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how excited you are about Bitcoin hitting $20,000, having hit $21,000. Do you think that we could hit $25,000 by the end of the year? Let us know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next episode.